Barack Obama has set the U.S. on a course to join the Human Rights Council in the UN. I don't think anything could discredit the Human Rights Council any more than it already has been by having China, Saudi Arabia, and Russia on there, than to add the United States. The U.S. has the largest prison population per capita, or even by sheer number, in the world. The U.S. spends more money on killing machines than the rest of the world combined. There are scores of not-so-secret prisons peppered all over the world where people are tortured. Gitmo is still open where people have been tortured. And the CIA continues to do renditions, torturing people again, which is against human rights by any standard. Doesn't matter if you rename it advanced interrogation techniques, it's still torture. The U.S. is using depleted uranium in Iraq and Afghanistan, where only a couple of days ago they murdered 140 people, 93 of them children. They use white phosphorus, Mk77, an upgraded form of napalm, which has been illegal to chemical weapons. It's been illegal since the Vietnam War, where the U.S. killed 2 million Vietnamese people. They use cluster bombs and hire mercenary groups who also torture people, assassinate people, blockade food, occupy 2 countries, support the fascist Israeli government 110%, and often block resolutions against them solo. They've been busted hiring companies who've been guilty of human trafficking and sex slavery, such as DynCorp, and they still award them billions. And for all of China's sweatshops, their principal buyers and companies involved are from the United States. Saying the U.S. should be on the Human Rights Council is a complete joke. I mean, what exactly would a country have to do to not get on the Human Rights Council? The U.S. is guilty of torture via secret prisons, open prisons, and renditions by the CIA. They're using illegal chemical weapons. They're using depleted uranium and cluster bombs, all of which are illegal according to themselves. They jail people without trial or due process of law. They're the largest prisons in the world, where people have also been tortured. They kill indiscriminately. They fire bombs civilian cities. They're occupying 2 third world nations that they've flown back into the Stone Age. They've killed over 1 million people in Iraq. They invaded these countries on false pretexts of weapons of mass destruction. The hypocrisy there of accusing someone else of having weapons of mass destruction, which they didn't have, while maintaining stockpiles of them larger than the rest of the world put together. They ought to rename the Human Rights Council the Hypocrisy Council. All that's going to happen by the U.S. joining the Human Rights Council is the setup for massive double standards where the U.S. can use this council to bash its enemies for any accused violations of human rights, while the whole world knows the U.S. is abusing human rights and nothing will happen from that. The hypocrisy is so thick. Only Obama could go up there and try and do this. He's just a little Bush, but the leftists, I don't know why, because he's a Democrat or he's black, whatever, they can look the other way as he's doubled the size of the war in Afghanistan, continued to bomb Pakistan. The war in Iraq is just how it was before. Gitmo's still open, torture's still going strong, and Obama can talk all he wants, but his actions tell the story. He hasn't done a goddamn thing. Well, it's happened. The U.S. was elected to the UN's Human Rights Council May 16th, as I was making this video. Václav Havel, the former president of Czech Republic, wrote an op-ed in the New York Times called A Table for Tyrants. I suggest you read it. The link will be here. He pretty much shares my opinion on this. The whole election was a farce, and the fact that the U.S. and China and Saudi Arabia can be on a Human Rights Watch or Human Rights Council is a complete joke. It's making the UN absolutely worthless.